Welcome back to What Are We Talking About? I am Ben Lewis, and today we are tackling one of the toughest relationship challenges, family conflict. Now, we are often taught to prioritize peace and forgiveness above all else. But what happens when peace is weaponized against you and constant conflict is destroying your spirit? We're going to explore the forgotten biblical wisdom that supports setting boundaries, even distancing yourself when love demands protection, not perpetual engagement. This isn't about giving up, it's about choosing wisdom over warfare. First, I want to talk about dropping the quarrel, dropping the fight, choosing proactive peace. This first point is taken straight from the wisdom literature, the command to proactively avoid strife. We often read Romans 12:18, quote, "If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all." But we often skip the critical first clause, if it is possible. The Bible acknowledges that sometimes peace is not possible because the other party is committed to the fight. Your obligation is fulfilled when you've done your part. The Proverbs provide the blueprint. Proverbs 17:14 tells us, "Starting a quarrel is like breaching a dam, so drop the matter before the dispute breaks out." The biblical approach to peace isn't just reacting to a fight. It's seeing the fight coming and choosing to walk the other way. This translates into setting, for instance, topic boundaries. When a destructive family member brings up the habitual source of conflict, you must apply an immediate stop. Say, "I love you, but I'm not willing to discuss this topic with you right now. I hear what you're saying. We're not going to agree on this. Let's move forward." And immediately change the subject or exit the conversation. You're choosing honor over being quick to fight. You're dropping the matter before the dam breaks. And this comes straight from Proverbs 20, verse 3. You see this a lot when dealing with family members that like to have things their way, like to be able to do whatever they want, but then whenever perhaps they're called to the carpet on it, they want to throw your Christian faith back at you and say, "Well, you're a Christian. You're supposed to accept me. You're a Christian. You're supposed to not fight with me. You're supposed to let me do whatever I want." And that is a biblical untruth. There's nowhere in the Bible that says that as a Christian, you are to let somebody act and do and say whatever they want and just forgive them every time. I mean, yes, forgive them. The Bible does say forgive them, but it doesn't say that you have to sit there and listen to it and listen to it and listen to it. It just doesn't. So by being the Christian person, if it is possible, and as far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. If it is possible. Sometimes it is not. And what do you have to do in that situation? Separate yourself from the problem. And avoid such people. Protecting your own moral health. This point moves from avoiding a fight to avoiding those who are persistently destructive. The New Testament is surprisingly direct. In 2 Timothy 3, 1-5, Paul describes a long list of toxic behaviors, people who are abusive, people who have no self-control, they are brutal, they're lovers of self. And the instruction in verse 5 is unambiguous. It says, avoid such people. This principle is reiterated in 1 Corinthians 15:33. It says, do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals. You may be thinking like you're doing everything you can to try to help this bad company, but you are having less of an effect on them positively, and they are having more of an effect on you negatively. And you will see that change in your communication with them, where you go from, in the beginning, trying to be nice, trying to be understanding, and being the person that tries to be reasonable, to where they have eventually brought you to their level. And they will. They will. The Bible views your spiritual and moral health as a primary boundary to defend. When continued association with a family member or friend consistently compromises your character, your peace, or your faith, Limiting association is not an unloving act. It is an act of self-control and self-preservation. You are not commanded to be endlessly corrupted by bad company, even if that company shares your DNA. Or maybe they don't share your DNA. Maybe they've just been your best friend forever. You are not commanded to be endlessly corrupted by bad company. If you take nothing else away, take that. This leads to setting time and space boundaries for destructive patterns. You might need to embrace a low contact situation with this person. What that looks like is limiting contact, moving from daily calls to weekly texts, moving from weekly texts to monthly Facebook messages. Defining visits, state clearly, I will only be able to stay for an hour. Do not enable. Refuse to constantly rescue or fix problems created by their own poor choices. This aligns with Galatians 6:5, for each will have to carry out his own load. Have you ever been involved with a person that wants rewarded for solving a problem they created? I've got a great story about that. I want to take a minute to tell you a little bit about Cowboy Revolution apparel. Now, obviously, you've seen my cowboy hat on the cover of this podcast. And let's be real, when you hear cowboy, your mind jumps to the hat, the silhouette, the statement, but you're not always out roping cattle, right? You're navigating the concrete jungle, or maybe just a chill Sunday morning headed to church. That's the gap Cowboy Revolution apparel fills. They're taking that iconic Western spirit and putting it into the clothes you actually live in. Starting with the gear that keeps your head warm and looks sharp, hats and hoodies. Their hoodies aren't just soft, they're substance. They're heavyweight fleece designed with a rugged durability that's rare these days. Think reinforced stitching, metal tip drawstrings that fits you and lets you move. They're built to be your best friend when the temperature drops, whether you're fixing a fence or just hitting the coffee shop. These are the hoodies that get better, not bagged out with every wash. And the hats, we're talking about more than just your standard cap. They've got structured trucker hats with classic Western patches that pay respect to the ranching life. They've got wool caps for that vintage frontier look, and for those who want the full silhouette without the fuss, they offer premium, crushable felt hats that are easy to pack, but demand respect when you wear them. Every stitch, every buckle, every curve is deliberate. You don't have to wear a full Western rig to carry the grit of the West. Just throw on a Cowboy Revolution hoodie or a CR hat and you're good to go. It's about quiet confidence and uncompromising quality from a veteran-owned company. One time, my wife and I had a dog, and it was a dog that just didn't fit in with our other dogs. So she reached out to an individual and said, hey, you said you were wanting a dog. Do you want this dog? So her and her husband came over. They met the dog. They said, oh, we love the dog. We want the dog, right? So we trusted them. They took the dog home. So they have the dog for, a week. And all of a sudden, they're not dog people anymore, right? This dog barks too much. This dog needs too much food. This dog is crazy. He's jumping all over the place. We don't want him. And so we said, okay, well, if you don't want the dog, then we'll come back and get him. But we're not able to get, because they lived out of town, we're not able to get to you until, 2 weeks. Well, that wasn't enough time for them. So what they did was they took the dog and they just dumped him on the side of the road. And we're like, we're coming next week to get the dog. And they said, oh, well, we took care of it. Well, what does take care of it mean? Well, they dumped the dog on the side of the road. And we're like, well, where did you dump it? We're going to have to go get it. Are you kidding me? This is not real life. And so they're like, oh, well, they told us exactly where they dumped it, right? So we drive an hour to get wherever they dumped this dog, and we start looking around. We're going house to house, door to door. We've got our older daughter in her car driving around. We're trying to find this dog, okay? And so after 3-4 hours of searching this area at night, knocking on doors, knocking on houses, trying to find this dog, we get a call from this person, and she's super excited. She found the dog. Right? Her and her husband found the dog, and they're going to meet us with the dog. And we're like, great, you found the dog. But what they wanted was congratulations from us. They wanted us to say, you did such a good job finding this dog. I can't believe you found the dog. You're such heroes. But they were the ones that dumped the dog. So, this is not a heroic venture. They're just fixing the mess that they created. And these are the type of people they can cause toxic relationships. So what's the next thing you got to think about? Consider shaking the dust. This is the final boundary. The final point is a powerful visual metaphor taught by Jesus himself, shaking the dust off your feet. In Matthew 10:14, Jesus instructed his disciples that if people would not receive them or listen to their message, they should depart and symbolically shake the dust off their feet. While applied here to evangelism, the principle is universally valid for relationships. You are responsible for your effort, not their reception. When you have done all you can, you have tried to live peaceably, and you have set limits, and the engagement remains fruitless and destructive, the biblical response is to step away and place the matter in God's hands. This is the act of establishing the consequence boundary after communicating your limits. For example, if you yell, I will leave. If you will not drop this topic, we will not speak anymore. You cannot talk to me this way. You cannot talk about my family this way. You cannot behave this way for us to continue this relationship. After you've set those boundaries, you must follow through. You have to leave. If you keep giving chance after chance after chance, you are what? You're an enabler. Then you teach them by your actions that it's okay to act that way because it always has been. You hang up. You're declaring, I've done my part. I'm not responsible for your perpetual choice to fight. I refuse to carry the emotional burden of your rebellion against peace. This is a difficult but profoundly wise and self-respecting act of withdrawal. You don't have to be friends with them on Facebook. You don't have to follow them on Instagram. You don't have to have conversations and respond to everything they send. You just don't have to. You try, you work, you do your part. Then you have to set your boundaries. Pray for them. Always pray for them. You got to protect yourself. You got to protect your family. This is biblical. The message of hope today is this. You can have both peace and love. Setting a boundary is not the opposite of love. Sometimes it is the highest form of love, both for yourself and for the other person, as you refuse to enable their destructive path. You are not abandoning your faith when you distance yourself from strife. You are embracing wisdom, committing to peace, and practicing self-control. These are all ideas from Proverbs, Romans, 2 Timothy. Remember, forgiveness is mandatory. You must release the bitterness. But trust and access are earned. You can forgive someone while simultaneously choosing to limit your exposure to their persistent destruction. Let me repeat that. Forgiveness is mandatory. I've already said that. We have to forgive them. But trust and access are earned. My trust in you is earned. Your access to me is earned. Go forward today with courage. Choose peace, choose wisdom, and trust that God honors your effort to find refuge and quietude in a world and sometimes a family full of noise and conflict. If this message was for you, I pray for you in your situation. I understand it can be strenuous, it can be stressful, and it can add undue stress in a world where we already have stress. Good friends, good family, they strive to work together. They strive to bring peace, to be a support group for each other, not to demand attention. So remember that. Protect your family. Pray for them, forgive them. But remember, your trust, your access, those are earned. That's it for today's episode of What Are We Talking About? I am Ben Lewis. If you enjoyed this, I'm happy you enjoyed it. Click subscribe, click follow, share with your friends. This is how we pay the bills around here. And if you did not enjoy this and you feel like this message was targeted, maybe it was. If you feel like this was something that was targeted at you, that's not me saying it. That's your internal conversation. That is maybe the Lord speaking to you. That is maybe your conscience speaking to you. Not a believer, maybe that's your good vibes speaking to you. If this wasn't for you, then just remember it for somebody that it is for. But if this was for you, whether you are the person that is dealing with the family member or you the person that you just realized you are that family member, you are that friend, start this message over. Listen one more time and see if you can pick something up. All right, guys, until next time.